Welcome to Smash Writing. I am your host, Paul, and today I am going to review the film of the year. That's right, it was released on Netflix over the weekend. I wanted to give you guys, the majority of the fan base that wanted this film to enjoy it before we get to talk about it. Maybe crush some of you guys' dreams, or maybe you guys are not going to agree with me. But either way, me, Justin's still out recovering. Fingers crossed he gets better and gets back on track. And hopefully by September, we will be back in full action. But until then, you got me. So, with that being said, let's review Happy Gilmore 2. The film that, in reality, I don't think anybody ever probably wanted to come out. But I get it. I think the film, since it came out in 95, 96, they said 30 years, so I want to say 95 because we're in 25. I don't think people were clamoring for this film in so many ways for a very, very long time. Me included. I'm going to honestly sit here and tell you that, Adam Sandler's time with his style of comedy was really that 95 to 2010 era. And even then, by the time he got to 2010, he was kind of phasing that out. So to bring this comedy back had to be done right. The biggest question is, was it done right? Well, without further ado, let's talk about the film. All right, so here we have it. Happy Gilmore is statistically one of the best golfers in the world, best golfers of his time, and so forth, right? And then, unfortunately, basically, he kills his wife with the golf ball on a long drive. Strikes her in the head, it appears, and ultimately kills her. Happy Gilmore enters into grief and retires from pro golf, knowing that he doesn't want to pick up another set of clubs because it will remind him too much of what he did, and he kind of falls into to a drunken state, like a bad drunken state. Well, over the time, so he ends up having four boys and one girl, right? And the boys are kind of all taking on his humor, his antics, and basically following in his career paths. Each one serving, each one's doing pretty much in a career that he was trying to do before he became the golfer and threw in his tryout and all of that. Anyway, he has a daughter who is more like his wife. Now, his wife, with being passed away, she was the one who was really managing the bill. So after he retired from golf, he really didn't know how to manage his money and fell on hard times. And they kind of, I guess, moved away from their lavishing lifestyle to a more simple, down-to-earth lifestyle, middle class, here, like us. Cool. Well, his daughter develops a knack for being a good dancer, and her dance instructor, by the way, we'll talk about this casting choices, these castings in a minute, because it is actually a pretty cool thing. But the instructor tells him basically, hey, she can go to this private this best dance school or something, and it's $75,000 a year. So how is he going to come up with the money? Well, there's only one way that he knows how to, and that is golf. But he understands that he's been out of the game for X amount of years. I think they said 10-ish or so. So he's rusty. So he begins to practice and slowly get the hang of it. At the same time he's doing this, he's still going through the ups and downs of the drinking, and he's drinking. He's drinking out of golf clubs. He's drinking out of remotes. Drinking out of cucumbers that at a store that he works at. All of this, these over the top type of things. Ooh, okay. So then he has to get off the booze, but he goes into jail. He got to go into um, Alcoholics Anonymous, which his course is led by Hal L, his former nemesis from Happy Gilmore 1, starring Ben Stiller. Yeah, here we go. Doing all these cool callbacks. So he has to battle the demons within him. At the same time he's doing all of this, there's a new startup league, golfing league, that is altering what you think of golf, right? You think of 19 holes, 18 holes, long day. Now, this league, which is called Maxi, they're doing 7 holes in their time. So now you just can't sit there and play around. Like, you got to be done with this hole, which is pretty cool. I ain't going to knock that. So here we go. The guy comes and recruits him, and Happy is still a more traditionalist league. He still wants the PGA Tour style. So ultimately, he says, no, thank you. This league is promoting that they're going to have the best golfers. So Happy tells the commissioner of, well, I guess that's what you call him, the commissioner, his old buddy, his old guy who once him kicked off the tour left and right 30 years ago, is now like his buddies. Ironic. He tells the commissioners, like, hey, won't you do a 5-on-5? Okay, your 5 best golfers can go and play this other league's top 5 golfers. The creator Maxie agrees, and all of that. So Happy Gilmore enters, gets back in there, and he's crushing it. 2 for the longest time, but he kind of buckles and hallucinates and gets under the pressure and falls all the way to 6th place. At the same time this is going on, Maxie, knowing that they need kind of like a face or a brand name, got to go for bang bang Shooter McGavin, who it is revealed that he's been in the padded walls facility for the past 30 years, because the last time we seen him, he stole Happy Gilmore's golden jacket, which Happy Gilmore makes a joke to him later. It's like, hey, you can take that one. I got 5 more. Which is the championship jacket. So Shooter comes out, and he does, the creator of Maxi bails him out and pays for him to come out, and the idea is for him to join him. But as much as Shooter hates Happy, Shooter is also a traditional golfer too. Mind you, that's his biggest thing against Happy, was how he was playing, how the golf game he was playing was not traditional. So, with that being said, it's like, whoa. He sees what Maxie's doing, and it's revealed the secret to their success is their long drive. Something Happy's good at, but their goals make Happy look average. And they found out through the weird history that there's a golfer that apparently got a shoe stuck up his ass, had a tender, some type of hip tender cut, and that allowed him to be more flexible to whack the ball farther. Instead, what Happy does is run up and do a full power swing. Shooter's like, nah, I'm not with this. I'm not cheating. He's seen the courses, and he's like, I'm not with it. Nothing like that. So he bails on him. Throws hot coffee at the guy's eyeball. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, Happy, comes in 6th, and it's revealed that the winner actually was a setup for him to go public to basically win their tournament, then drop out and just to make the league look so bad and join Maxi and be one of their players. Because of that dropout, that puts Happy in 5th. Here we go. He made the team. Then he deals with the confronting Shooter, and Shooter kind of befriends him and becomes more of a finally a friend rather than an enemy. So all events lead up to now the tournament. The teams are set with some real golfers plus Happy being coached by Shooter. The other team has their top players, ironic names, and they go hand to hand. And they clearly are crushing the team by the long shots and then the frustrations from the pro golfers, which ends up all in jail and them all getting hurt or by whatever, a bunch of things. And it comes down to, let me get his name back out for you. Oh my God! Why am I taking so long to look at his name? Oh my God, people! Haley Joel Osment is playing Billy Jenkins, so Billy is the winner who dropped out and all that. So it comes down to Happy and Billy, and Billy Happy makes a bet with the Maxi owner to where he's like, I'll play for you, but if you do this, if I win, I get this. So in the final hole, they make it a obstacle, like a teeter-totter thing, which was cool, but they kind of never really made each hole like an obstacle. Like all the other holes were tough to start, but the whole, when you got to the hole, it was like, all right, so this is weird, little antics. Of course, they played mischiefs, and Happy ends up winning, getting everything he wants. Daughter goes off to school to dance, and it all ends well in the Happy Gilmore world, and that is Happy Gilmore too, in a nutshell. Okay, so let's talk about some pros here. Because I do think, as much as I realistically, when I heard the story, when I heard the rumors, when it was confirmed, when the trailer dropped, I ultimately realized, I have to come into this movie with low standards to no standards. I legitimately had to. So I think this is why I'm giving it a higher grade, but which I'll tell you my grade in a minute. But ultimately, I knew I had to watch it. I knew I wanted to review it. And so then we watched it, and there were some pros. I really thought me being a girl dad, I haven't been really active a lot. Justin has been carrying away for a lot, and, with him being down and out, I definitely have to pick up the slack. But I have a baby girl, and who's 2 now, by the way. It's crazy. And I would do anything for my daughter. So I like the plot that he got to overcome his grief for his daughter's sake. Him going into a depression, the drinking from him killing his wife. Great touch. Great story. The biggest problem I have is now you're adding in such a good story, a good plot line. You're adding in his humor. And at times, that can be over the top, which it was. Drinking out of a fake cucumber, drinking out of a remote, drinking out of a golf club was just too much. I really thought it had a better story, a story that actually made sense. I did enjoy the fact that they incorporate more of the real golf. With the top stars of golf in the past decade plus. I really thought it was a cool touch. I love the ESPN stuff and all those cameos there, just from the realistic cameos, like people playing them real selves. their fictional selves. Then you had a glorified cameos from pretty much like almost all the popular athletes: Travis Kelsey Plum, um, music stars, rap stars. Some were good wrestlers. I can't forget my girl Becky Lynch. Um, you had all these cameos, and some were good. Some were like they're just there. Like I didn't really like the Post Malone um, commentary thing. That was like really like he's trash. I don't know why like people are like so infatuated with him. He is trash. Um, One of my favorite cameos was really Eminem. I'm a big Eminem fan. Grew up with him. Um, Saw him become nothing and grow up to a superstar. Been with him as a fan day one. Um, his cameo sticks out because like it was just over the top. It was Slim Shady at its best, and then he has to throw his catch line in there. Detroit, what? As he's getting ripped to shreds by an alligator. Classic. Um, but as much as I did get some laughs out of this film, I really seen some of the cons that just kind of overshadow that. The cameos were also very hit and miss too. As I said, so it's both a pro and a con because some worked, some didn't. I did like the startup league doing, something creative, something different. I did enjoy all of that, but the con was the actual game itself. Like, as soon as they got to the game, I was like, let me get this movie over with, or let me get over this. The storyline of the shoe in the ass and cutting the hip tenders or whatever they were really talking to. You're really going to base a league off of somebody having a shoe in their ass. Now, what I will say to this whole situation is I know what people are going to say. This is the fans at least, this is an A+ movie. And maybe one of their defenses could be that, hey, well, it's a A+ movie because, check this out, it was never to be taken seriously. And I get that. I really, really do. But it's still a film, and I'm going to be fair. I don't care if it's a stupid film or not. If it does things right, then it's getting a higher grade. Does things all right, gets a lower grade. Does things horribly, gets a bad grade. It's simple. I do, there because I had the standard low, it's going to get a higher grade from me. And what I overall am going to give it, because of the cons, that tournament really got to me. I was like, all right, that's enough. The shoe in the ass, all right, that's enough. The over-the-top comedy at times was a hit and miss. All right, too much of it is a miss. Okay, that's enough. In the end, I'm giving it a C, simply because I don't think it's going to be as popular in the long run as Happy Gilmore was. Happy Gilmore came out, it was a hit in the 90s, it stayed in the 90s. Adam Sandler's, I'm not taking nothing away from his acting because I will talk about his movies, definitely the more recent ones when he's serious. Like, ooh, I'm impressed. But this one just felt like it was to be made just to be made. I think the cameos probably were going to help jump it, get it going. So in the end, I'm giving it a C. I think it's an average film, guys. I'm sorry. I think maybe somebody wanted it more. I hate to break it to you, but it's nothing more than an average film. So, with that being said, until next time, bye-bye.